Hi and welcome to Big Centre What's On, the show that does exactly what it says on the tin. I'm Chanel Shay Calvin, and in today's show we're going to be visiting two of the Midlands' top family attractions and talking to the actor, writer, producer whose new show is premiering at the Library of Birmingham this week. But first, there are so many gigs and performances happening here in the Midlands, and we want to let you know what's on. Recently, our Big Centre design team have been hard at work redesigning my screen, and we hope you like my new look home. So, if you haven't seen it before, here's how it works. Below me, you'll see all the gigs and comedy shows that are happening this week. While at the same time, here on my left, are the events, theatre shows, concerts, theme parks and family days out happening in our area. In future shows, we'll be featuring our regular reviewers who will be talking about their particular passion, from the vibrant club scene, rock music, the art, local theatre to jazz and blues. Here on Big Centre What's On, we want to hear about your events, shows or gigs, and our contact details can be seen at the bottom of the screen. There are some fantastic family attractions in the area, and we sent our reporters out to two of the top ones. So if you're looking for somewhere to take the kids or even enjoy yourselves, here's the first of their reports.
Celebrations are in order as Drayton Manor theme park opens its expansion project just in time for the school Easter holidays. Thomasland has been 2 years in the making and is expected to attract thousands of visitors.
The Thomasland expansion was a very much needed item because during the time we've had the original Thomas, we had such a capacity problem. Now we've increased the capacity by about 1,000 people an hour by putting in some more rides.
So how much money has been put into this expansion?
We're just over 3 million by the time we've added all the marketing and all the advertising and everything else, and it's going to be an absolute stunning project.
And it's not only the children who are reaping the benefits of the new project.
Well, Drayton Manor Park plays a big role in the local community, and that also goes with our construction teams and our suppliers. So we're quite proud to say that sort of 90% plus of the supplies that were used in building the extension were sourced locally from local merchants. And the same with the contractors used on site. We're blessed with some great skills in the area, and we used, again, local contractors to build the extension.
Thomasland, when we first put it in 2008, increased the workload by about 100 people. We're going to add another 20 for this. We get at least 95% of all our people from within the locale, and Tamworth is an exceptionally good source of young people wanting to have their first jobs, you know, and they stay with us for years.
With just a few days left of the Easter holidays, both Thomas and the Fat Controller are looking forward to welcoming thousands of visitors to their new home.
My guest in today's show is Dominic, who's an actor, writer and producer. But before I introduce him, let's watch a few short scenes from his new production.
Hello, piggies! You muppet, you!
Oh, give over, you bobble-headed, rosy-cheeked twonk.
Blimey! I don't deserve that torrent of abuse. And for your information, I happen to have Rombo syndrome. It causes a trophoderma vermiculation, which makes my cheeks red. What's the matter with you anyway, you grumpy beggar?
Well, apart from the fact that me toadstool's been repossessed, PC Plod's done me for drink driving, and I can't afford the Toyland Express now they've privatised the thing. Of Mr Milko sleeping with my wife. Oh, and my brother's been bothering me about having smaller ears than him. Oh, and the Clockwork Mouse has been winding me up all day. Apart from that, I'm tickety-boo, mate. Oh, and if you haven't noticed, I've got Rombo syndrome too.
Oh, blimey, that's a cluster.
It's a kid's show.
Have you got one of those baby alarms, our Jim?
Yeah, top of the range. It can pick a mouse up from about 3 doors away.
Right, well, the first thing you have to do is chuck it away or sell it on eBay.
eBay? How do you know about eBay, Grandad?
I have sold more things on eBay than you would believe. Of course, I've also bought a few things, but they are not for public consumption, if you know what I mean.
Oh, I'm shocked, Grandad.
Don't be, but to get back on topic, just chuck the blooming thing away. Bab will tell you very loudly if out's wrong, otherwise it'll just chat away to itself, and you can leave it to it. And if it carries on crying, this is what you do.
Grandad?
Just shut the door. And depending on what time it is, you can either go to bed or watch the telly.
But will it work?
The first time, I won't lie to you. No, it'll scream for hours. But the next time it'll be less, and eventually it'll get the message. I couldn't be doing with being up all night when ours were young. I had work, no money. And then Baba'd really have something to cry about. Oh, times were hard then.
You all say that, Grandad.
Times were hard then. I used to have to live in shed. We had jam butties for tea. Jam? We didn't get jam, we were lucky to get Marge. Oh, goodness, I got to go lie down, I'm knackered.
Hi Dominic, and welcome to Big Centre What's On.
Hello.
Thank you so much for joining me today. As I mentioned in there, you're an actor, writer, producer. That is pretty impressive. So why did you want to be all of those?
I never set out to be. It happened that way. I just wanted to, always wanted to act, and my degree is in writing and acting. But what I found was it's very difficult to get work as an actor, as a lot of people know. So I just found myself going, well, I've got a degree in writing, I can act, why don't I just do it myself?
So going back to what you were studying, where did you actually study and what was that like?
Oh, goodness. It was at Edge Hill University, which is accredited to Lancaster, which is up in Ormskirk. So I was based primarily in Liverpool.
Oh, okay.
We're actually going up to Liverpool in August for another show. But I met my wife there, and all my in-laws are in Liverpool, so it's a wonderful city to visit if you've ever been. But that's where I studied the writing and the drama. More the writing actually than the drama, because I'd done drama pretty much all my life since I was about 5 years old, and my dad needed a kid to do his play, so he said, stuck me in a Spider-Man suit and threw me on the stage. I don't know why I had a Spider-Man suit, but
It just happened.
I'll probably never know. I don't think he remembers actually, but when I came in to do, when I moved, I lived in Canada for a short time after that.
Oh wow, what was that like there?
Wonderful. If you've ever been to Toronto, I made a living as an extra, and my claim to fame is Robin Williams laughed at.
Are you local yourself? Or?
Yeah, well, I live in Swadlincote, but I was living in, because after I lived in Canada, I came back to Birmingham and started doing a course in theatre school, and met a lot of the actors who are working with me now, actually. And basically, we were all professional actors, all got agents, and we all want to work, but again, the work doesn't always come. So I said, we'll create our own work, we'll write it ourselves, we'll produce it ourselves. I said, how you can do that with no money? Well, and that was basically the stipulation. I said, well, make sure the script is really good, and the acting's really good.
The company you're referring to is actually yours at the Stripped Down Theatre, and you're you're one of the co-founders of that company.
Yeah, with my wife.
Oh, that's nice.
Co-founded it with me and my wife founded it, and my dad does the writing, so it's kind of a family business in that respect. Because he was a teacher for 40 years. He's retired now, but he wrote a lot in that time, and he wrote this first play he wrote, Our Kylie's Getting Wed, which he wrote. It was written 10 years ago, but I kind of obsessed over it in the time in between. I said, oh, this is really good, I want to do this professionally. And when I sort of founded the company, I decided, right, that's going to be our first show, especially as you can do it with 4 actors and 4 chairs. Oh, God. You know, it's 4 actors, 4 chairs, and I think there's a prop in it, but...
Did you set out... It's actually a trilogy, isn't it, as well?
It is,
Was it set out to be a trilogy?
No. I said he wrote it all those years ago, and we did it and revived it, and we did it... Arts Fest we did it for several years ago. It went down really well. People who saw it just laugh at it, because everyone likes to laugh at weddings.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, and then we did that one, and I said, oh, where do we go next? What is the next one we can do? And I just said, let's do Our Kylie's Having a Bab. I said it as a joke, and he goes, That's not a bad idea, actually. He set about and he wrote the second part, which is Our Kylie's Having a Bab, which, as the title suggests, is about 4 men trying to understand childbirth, which, not surprisingly, is very popular with the female portion of the audience.
Then after those two, that's how you've got to the one which we'll talk about in a moment. But
the third one. We said, how do we do the third one? And I said, well, it's got to be about funerals.
Oh, because obviously that would lead. But
he said, how could I write a comedy about funerals? And I just said, you'll manage it.
You've achieved it. So,
and he went away and he wrote a comedy about a funeral. And I think people must be a bit morbid because that's how most popular. It's very popular.
We'll probably find more about that as well in a moment.
Yeah.
But thank you. So we're back with more from Dominic after the break. Welcome back to Big Centre What's On, the show that does exactly what it says on the tin. With me in this week's show is an actor, writer and producer, Dominic Fellows, and we're talking to him more about his new show in a few moments. But if you're just joining us or a newcomer to the show, here's how our screen works. Below me, you'll see all the gigs and comedy shows that are happening this week. While at the same time, here on my left, are the events, theatre shows, concerts, theme parks and family days out happening in our area. But first, here's our second report from one of the region's premier days out attractions.
The West Midlands Safari Park have welcomed new creatures this year, which are proving to be very popular with guests.
Well, this concept has been 3 years and £2.5 million in the making, and what we've ended up with is nearly 40 dinosaurs, and what I call all singing, all swinging, all dancing dinosaurs, because the mouth, the eyes, the neck, the tail all move, and they even breathe. They look as real as they could ever possibly do, and of course you've got the audio, which you can probably hear in the background. No one can really vouch for the authenticity of the audio because no one's ever been around long enough to have heard it for real, but it sounds pretty impressive, and it's proving very, very popular. Oh, the reaction's been phenomenal. It's a mixture of incredulity and perhaps scary, but it's very, very popular, particularly with the children, because we have a statutory duty in a zoo to provide education, and to make education stick in the young agile mind these days, you've got to make it interesting and fun, and I think this ticks both boxes.
So I've had a little bit of a walk around. It looks like there's some bits of interaction as well that children can take part in.
Yes, again, you've got to involve children to make it memorable and interesting, and it's proving very, very popular, and that's the sort of thing that does stick in the mind. They can take away mental images of the sound, the moving animals, but if they're actually doing something as part of that, it does stay in the memory far longer. We've got nearly 40 dinosaurs spread across the whole range of what we call the dinosaur age, which ended about 65 million years ago. The popular misconception is that the dinosaurs died out. They didn't actually die out, because the lineage of most of our birds in the modern world actually can be traced back to the age of the dinosaurs, because when the mass extinction occurred, the smaller creatures like birds did survive it, and today's birds, everything from the flightless ostrich that we have here in the park down to the humble house sparrow that might be sitting on your studio window back at base now, can be traced back to the dinosaur. So keep your windows shut.
The Land of the Living Dinosaurs is a permanent exhibit at the park.
As I said before, we have Dominic Fellows with us today. So as again, thank you. Had so much to talk about in the first half of the show, but we can now focus on the show which is coming up. So as I said before, it's actually a 3-part trilogy.
Yeah.
Would you have to have watched all 3 of them to understand this one?
Not at all, because we were very conscious of that when we wrote it. I said we can't have any, terrible hidden jokes or anything. You can't have them, because that's not going to work. It's just going to alienate people who haven't seen the first one. So what I did was said they've got to be very separate. They're just kind of carrying on the story of the characters. They use the same characters, but the situations are totally different. And stylistically, they're very different, because the first one, Our Kylie's Getting Wed, is just mad. It's just gag after gag after gag. I mean, we lose pounds doing that one because it's just so energetic. And then there's the second one, Bab, is more it's more like a traditional sitcom. It's not as mad, there's not as much running around, but still full of jokes. And then the third one, this one coming up, the tone gets a little bit more serious. I mean, obviously, because it's said at a funeral. We've still got the jokes, and it's still very funny, but there are bits of it which are very poignant, and it sort of almost goes into comedy drama. And I say the first time we ever read it was quite ridiculous because we're all stood there reading the script and there's 4 grown men in tears at the end reading this script. So I'm going, no, I'm fine.
Oh. So who are the cast members in this production then?
Oh, so there's myself, Sonny Dapp, Vincent Fox and Dave Francis Williams, all wonderful actors. Brilliant actors.
How do you actually rehearse plays? Like, do you have like a dedicated place for you to rehearse it? Or?
No, again, because our remit is we'll perform anywhere, the same is true of our rehearsing. We'll rehearse anywhere. I mean, sometimes we've done it in a pub loft or we've got a space, or sometimes we've been in the joint stock, or, you know, sometimes if we had nowhere to go, we'd be in my living room, you know, just doing it. And in fact, yesterday, strangest of all, we were rehearsing on Skype.
Oh, how did that work? Was that quite interesting?
Very well, actually. Well, it's because the other 3 guys live quite close together, but I'm quite far away because I live a bit further. So we have me, I'm on the Skype, feeding my lines in electronically, I suppose, and they're sitting in Birmingham doing all their bits.
Oh wow! So you obviously must be like really close as a cast member, which I think's that's got to be done when you perform in a play, I guess.
Oh, we had to be, yes, very much. I mean, certainly we've. Certainly Sonny and Dave have been there since, oh God, since we started. And Vin actually came on board last year and was given the task of, OK, we need someone to do all 3 Kylies, you've got 3 months, good luck.
No pressure.
No, but he did them all. He did all the plays in about 3 months. And when we'd done the first 2 before, but when we came to the 3rd one, the rest of us were going, oh, how are we going to do this? And Vin's going, whatever. Done it. So he knows what he's doing.
So where can we actually see this play which is coming up then? Is it just locally that you're performing it?
Library of Birmingham is the next one, next Friday, 17th of April, 7 o'clock, coming up. And then afterwards we've got a few others which are going out all over the country, really. It's just anywhere we can get them in, because again, that's where we perform, do pubs and clubs or theatres. Anyway, and we've got one in Swadlincote, one up in Liverpool, we've got one in Croydon, and so dotted all over the place. And we're trying to, recently we're sort of working on getting there. We'd like to get possibly one at the Crescent in Birmingham, because we do like to do Birmingham, because that's where we're from.
I think
that's
it's
where
nice
we're
always
based.
to keep it local, your local actors, local performers doing a play, so I think it's great. So hopefully people will look out for it, and there's other features you do as well, like short sketches, which people can see on your website as well. So thank you very much. Thank you. Don't forget, if you want to be included in the show, our contact details are on the bottom of the screen. So thanks to Dominic Fellows, and to play us out, here's a new single from Brad Henshaw.
Thinking back, thinking of you. Summertime, think it was June. Yeah, I think it was June. Laying back, head in the grass, chewing gum, having some laughs. Yeah, having some laughs. Drinking back, drinking for 2, drinking with you, when drinking was new. Sleeping in the back of my car, didn't need to go far.